Hey guys, we're going to go over how to correctly fill out this ski paperwork for the mount tag. So there's a couple of problems that we've been having where there's insufficient information on the tag. There's a lack of people knowing where signatures are and what the signatures mean for liability purposes. So we're going to go over the whole thing just step by step and make sure everybody's filled in on this. The first step you're going to get is taken by on the tag. We need to know who it's taken by so that we have some form of accountability here. So write your initials here just so we know who's filling out what. That way we can fill in gaps in information if somebody doesn't know, and that we can tie things back when we need to. So fill out your initials here, right there. Make sure you get today's date and the date due. To get the date due, you can check on the calendar on Google Chrome. It'll be the first tag to your left, and it'll tell you what date we're currently on. We can only have 12 appointments per date. That's important not to overwork the people in the back. It causes a lot of problems. So you can go ahead and check that calendar. So today is 12/8. So for today, for instance, we're out until the 18th. We have a couple, so I'll put 12/18 there for the mount. We need all of the information for the skier here. And a lot of the time, people will bring in a ski for somebody else. So we need the skier's information here. Now, the person bringing them in can fill out the last first name, the street address, the city, the phone number. But on this section here, that's the skier's information, and it's imperative to putting in the DIN. So we need their correct weight, their height in feet and inches, and their age. That's what allows us to set their torque ratios and get everything set up correctly for them. We need their skier type. If they're unaware of that, we need to explain what the differences between the skier types are. So type 1 is going to be pretty beginner. It's going to be if you're a new skier, you're kind of still pizzaing and getting your bearings, you're not carving yet, you're not a very confident skier. Type 2 is intermediate to fairly good. You're a confident skier, you can hit groom slopes, you're a little bit of a powder skier, but you're not a crazy expert. Type 3 is going to be the thing you see the least probably, but if people choose type 3, they're a very confident skier. They're doing pretty hard groomers, they're putting a lot of torque on their skis, they're catching their edges hard, they're doing heavy powder, big jumps, and flips. So that's a good basic classification for that part. This signature here is going to be for them to acknowledge that their information is correct on the top. This is not the signature for our liability. That's going to be this signature on the back. It's the second one up, that's the user's signature. It's going to tell them that if anything happens to the ski, we are not liable for their injuries, and that's imperative that we put that down just because of that liability issue. Parent or guardian, if you have someone who's under 18, they need to have the parent sign here and then the user can sign up top, but both need to be done if it's a minor. So on the ski setup itself, we have our skis, our boots, and our bindings. On serial number, if you can easily find it, we do prefer to have the serial number for tying back to skis. If you absolutely can't find it, we can find it later in the shop, and we tend to look for it. Make sure you put the brand up top here, and then the model. The model can be kind of hard to identify sometimes, but usually the model is on the bottom of the ski, the brand is on the middle of the ski. Depends on brand to brand. On boots, same thing, make sure we get the brand, the model, and then the sole length is very important. A lot of people have been putting the sole length as the flex of the boot. So it'll say 110, they'll put 110 on the sole length. We've been seeing that a lot. Let's make sure that we're getting the actual sole length. It's usually on the back left of the heel. Sometimes it's on the right of the heel or on the midsole. Make sure we're getting that. That allows us to set the mounts correctly. If that's wrong by even a little bit, say it's a 30.5 boot and you put 305, that'll really mess up that mount. On bindings, same thing, just brand and model. Make sure that when people bring in their brand and model, you check the second drawer to the left at the service desk. There's a chart there for indemnification. So if there's something that's really old that comes in, we need to check to see if we can actually legally work on that binding. So make sure we're checking that. Say it's an older atomic that just says atomic, you can't identify what kind it is. We need to make sure we identify what it is to make sure we're not liable for mounting a binding that's not indemnified anymore. For the work requested section, this is where they want their mount. This is where we're going for oh no, the lights went out. Perfect. So this is where we're going to get the information for what service they're looking for on the mount location. So there's a couple of different mount locations on skis. Let me grab this for reference. see on these Armadas, we've got a couple of different standard mount locations. Now people can choose different mount locations if they choose, but for ease of explaining to people that generally don't know, we have two lines on a lot of skis. We'll take Armadas, for instance. We have a freestyle recommendation, and then we'll have our factory recommendation. The freestyle is gonna be what you're gonna put if they're looking for something that's a little more playful, a little more balanced, say like a park ski, or if they're looking to land switch a lot. On the factory recommendation, that's the recommendation that the factory itself will rate these skis for the most balanced experience on this particular ski. So it's different on every brand and on every ski. So we just need to make sure we're explaining to customers what they're wanting to ski like, what they're doing, and then we can assign them a particular mount location.